Welcome to another edition of the replay where we're trying to make your day. Y'all ready to do this? Let's go. Good evening, good evening, good evening. We're live. This is the replay where we're trying to make your day. I'm your host, Jabril Rashad. And joining me to the stage is none other than Daryl Alexander the Great, as well as Tim Axton Jackson from Nebraska. Good evening to you, my brothers. Let me bring y'all back up on the stage right quick. Good evening to y'all, man.
What's
I'm
up? What's
disheartened.
up?
Me and Tim, we represent. We represent, man. One of these guys don't look like the other.
I'm representing Juneteenth, bro.
Oh yeah, you represent Juneteenth, no doubt about it, man. So we got a lot to talk about with this game this evening. But before we do any of that, y'all please hit that subscribe, like, and share button as well as the notification button so you can get the notification when we're live each week, Monday and Thursday from 8:30 p.m. Central Time. So, guys, we got to talk about these NBA Finals. The Dallas Mavericks lose to the Boston Celtics 106-88. And there's a lot to talk about this game. And Tim, I'm just gonna come straight to you first because I like that Dallas, jersey that you're repping, man. I like that. I like the V-neck. I like the sleeves ain't on it, man.
Old
So
school.
we're gonna keep repping our boys, man. But big shout out to the Boston Celtics. They are your 2024 NBA champions, defeating once again the Dallas Mavericks 106-88. And Tim, I saw so many mistakes. I'm gonna talk about. I'm gonna vent a little bit, man. But I'm gonna go ahead and yield the floor to you right now, man. What did you see in tonight's game that really bothered you? And I know you was bothered.
Oh, I was definitely bothered. But before I get to bothering, like you said, I want to congratulate Boston. They've been the best team all year long. They have the best starting six in the league, and so it's fitting that actually they came through and actually followed through what they're good at. The sad part about it is that Dallas' energy wasn't right. They didn't move the ball. They sat on it. Then they turned the ball over and they couldn't make threes. The role players didn't play good, except for Josh Green. He played really, really well. Had the energy. He seemed like the other guys. Well, I saw them hustling, but they were turning the ball up. Wasn't making smart plays. Decision making was bad. Turning the ball over like they wasn't paying attention. And then they didn't cover the 3-point line. Whenever they didn't cover the 3-point line with Boston. Boston plays well. So I couldn't understand why those guys were playing off. I know they were dribble penetrating, but it was better to let them dribble penetrate than to let them shoot the three. That drove me crazy. And then just the untimely turnovers. And then it's like, these guys went to sleep. The energy kind of faded as well. And then Kyrie, oh my goodness. Kyrie, that stepping on the leprechaun is still haunting you to the day because your mindset is not where it needs to be because you couldn't let it go. So he has a growth he needs to do playing in Boston because this is the worst. He doesn't play away games like this. And so for this place to have this kind of hex on him, have this cover over him, was really sad because the Dallas didn't need that. They need him to come through and make those easy shots. And it wasn't like he wasn't doing good things. He couldn't make a shot. The ball kept bouncing out, kept bouncing around the rim. Couldn't hit the three, bounce out. And so the whole team was just not in rhythm and not doing the things they needed to. And it looked like they was licking their wounds real early.
But DA, actually, we watched this matchup this evening together. Appreciate your hospitality, man. I got something out of the deal. At least I got some nice lemon
Got some
pepper
wings out
wings,
of it, man. Some
great,
pieces,
great
wings,
nice
fries.
water, man, and some French
Yeah.
fries, and we had some pizza, man. So, I mean, but outside of that, man, I had a dagger in my heart. So I'm gonna come to you and tell me what you saw, man. We sat and watched this massacre together this evening.
I saw exactly what Tim saw. We talked about that during the game. I told you that I said, Jabril, what is wrong with their energy? They have no energy, and it wasn't out of shape. It's energy. It's something a little different. Like they just didn't. It's like it didn't come to play today. You would think they would give more, but they didn't really come to play. Kyrie, I never thought I'd say somebody could be in his head, especially in an NBA team. Like it's basketball. He's been playing on the road, like you said, Tim, forever. That shouldn't bother him. It's just something else. I mean, this must be really bothering him because he can't get past it. He didn't play well. Luka didn't play well. Like he shot horribly at the beginning of the game. Then he got hot when it was trash time. Um, I still don't know why Jason Kidd decides to play Maxi Kleber so much.
Y'all guy. Tim, that's Tim. That's Tim guy.
I know, man.
No.
And then PJ did
Not since you've been
absolutely
hurt.
zero today. Like you got to make these hard calls sometimes. PJ gave you nothing today. Put somebody else in there, man, and see if they can get hot. Like put somebody, hey man, go in the game and start shooting. Let's run. Let's change our energy. It's like you weren't going to get it with Cleveland and PJ. He made no shots. You know, he was tough guy, but tough guy on the road, no buckets and all of that means nothing. So I just think he just sat back and let it happen. And I didn't agree with him not doing anything, especially playing Cleveland so much. I still don't understand that. That's just part of it.
Well, you know how I feel. I've said it way back when he came out of the Oklahoma series, or prior to the Oklahoma, whatever the series he hurt his shoulder, had the ACL joint against the Clippers, as a matter of fact. I mean, if the guy's not sitting out there, man, shooting set shots, he does you no good. Absolutely no good. And it's like he wasn't defending all that great because, you know, as I was saying, DA, watching the game, they beat the Dallas Mavericks to every loose rebound you could think of. There was no second chance baskets, no putback. I mean, it was like the trajectory on the ball. It was crazy because one time, Drew Holiday, man, the ball bounced. It was crazy because you had Lively standing right there, and someone else was next to Lively. May have been Josh Green, and the ball just tapped the back of the rim, and somehow he got in the middle and got that rebound. And I'm sitting there just scratching my head like, I just like, is it an invisible little leprechaun sitting up on the rim? You talk about shots that's not falling, balls, you know, doubling out. Just so much going on. But as I said, though, the Dallas Mavericks, man, I'm going to put this loss squarely on the shoulder of Jason Kidd, head coach Jason Kidd. I believe that the Dallas Mavericks lost this game in the second quarter. We said, DA, and we talked about this, man, play after play after play. PJ Washington, as you just so eloquently stated, gave the Dallas Mavericks absolutely nothing. Didn't defend, didn't rebound, missed open wide three-point shots. I don't even know if he got to the free throw line. I'm thinking he wasn't, maybe once or twice. He probably wasn't good at the free throw line. But at the same time, Jason Kidd watched and stood by as the Dallas Mavericks being knifed once again. Then when you finally go to your bench to use a Tim Hardaway Jr., you decide to assert him in the second half of the game in the third quarter with 3 minutes and something left in the third quarter. So I'm sitting there watching Jason Kidd, and I'm asking myself, what is your eyes telling you, being an NBA champion, being an all-star, you know, being one of the top 75 players to play the game? What is your eyes telling you when you leave a PJ Washington in the game with a Max Kleber? You don't really play Dante Exum, and we saw Dante Exum come to the top of the key and make 2 back-to-back threes early in the game. The man makes 2 back-to-back threes, and then you ice him. I told DA, I say, man, I think he gonna get an extra check or something, man. Somebody's sending Jason Kidd an extra check. And if I saw him, man, I'm telling you, if this game was played in doubt and I seen the dude putting out a parking lot, I'm gonna get at him. I'm gonna say, man, you suck tonight, man. I mean, I want to know, what game are you watching, man? I mean, we got our head coach, man. I mean, not making the proper substitutions when you don't even play the kid Hardy. None. He gets no run tonight. This ain't the time to be tightened up on your bench, especially when you needing threes to even stay in the game. You don't even play Hardy. Like I say, man, I'm just so disappointed how he, you know, mixed his lineup this evening. You know, didn't attack, didn't sit Luka down. You know, he making certain turnovers. I mean, it's like they just went through the motions, man. They were just happy in game number 4 just to save face and not being swept. And big shout outs to Paul Pierce because Paul Pierce called good money. He called this, I mean, way before the start of the series. Paul Pierce said the Mavericks will win one game. He said that the Boston Celtics was gonna win it in Boston. He said they was gonna come to Dallas and grab one. Dallas gonna win the next. The four. He called it just like that. Now he changed his mind on the sweep. We understand. He said, well, they'll sweep them. They didn't sweep them, but originally he called the series exactly where it went. So there's a lot to go around. Don't get me wrong with the players, but Tim, uh, again, man, Jason Kidd, what did you think about the moves that he made this evening? Because I'm telling you, man, if he gonna coach like this, man, you might as well should have kept Rick Carlisle.
Well, you actually you highlighted some of the weaknesses of J. Kidd. We've been talking about the whole series. He actually very good at actually after the game and sometimes at halftime. Sometimes he gets at halftime of making adjustments once it's there. But what happened is that this is how Jason Kidd played as a player as well. He was tunnel vision, right? He would actually go straight ahead, and once he had a concept, he's very knowledgeable, but he's not on a concept. He stays with whatever he actually starts off with. And it's hard for him to deviate until somebody or something gets him to jerk him out of that vision that he has. And usually it takes a whole game. Sometimes he'll do it at halftime, but he never does it during the game and adjusts real quickly. If his players don't see it, he ain't gonna see it because he's gonna stay exactly with that game plan, and that's his weakness. He doesn't adjust enough, and obviously on his staff, there's nobody willing to come up and say, "Hey, we need to do this. We need to reverse this out." Ain't nobody in his ear. He don't trust nobody enough to be in his ear to actually make an adjustment. And then you guys hit on PJ from the start. PJ was 0 for 5 from 3-pointer, right? When he was driving, he was turning the ball over. He was, they kept passing. And the problem I had with Kyrie wasn't it just that he, is that when he had a chance to move the ball, he kept passing the ball back. They passed him the ball, and then he passed the ball back to Luka real quick. Luka had moved over to his, his little position where, like he like to rest. Kyrie gave the ball back to him. Then he gave it to PJ. He kept giving the ball to PJ and let PJ drive it up. So I was like, what are you doing? This is the time you need to move the ball fast, make everybody else run with you. Take the leadership that you have and say, run with me. We're going to run no matter, even if they get back and they making baskets. Because one of the things was, they was making baskets. But still, put the pressure on them. Run and put the pressure on, which you guys talk about all the time. You guys usually always talk about them putting pressure even. And I say, yeah, they're not doing it because they got 5 guys back. But you know what? This game, they need to put the pressure on, even if they had 5 guys back.
Right.
Just because.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Go ahead. I probably had a little technical problem with TJ. Go ahead, DA.
I can't say enough about like we touched on Kidd, but your superstars got to play, man. They got to come to play, and neither one of them came to play today. Luka was just off. He came out, hit a shot or two, and then he just like at one point he was like 1 for 21 or something like that. They said, I was like, really? You missed 21? It's like he just got lazy, or he just went missing. Kyrie wasn't all the way there. He would hit a shot, miss 2 or 3, hit one, maybe miss a couple. It was like you can't have your two supers. You can't have both of them have off nights in an elimination game. It's a recipe for a disaster. And Boston didn't just come out missing a lot of threes from the start. They missed some, but they were actually going to the hoop on Dallas and trying to make it a different type of game because they've come out cold every start of the game from 3. But today they drove a little more. I noticed. We talked about that. But man, it was just the energy. I kept saying it the whole game, man. What is wrong with their energy? It's like they didn't have. It's like, okay, if we ain't got our home crowd, we have a problem getting our energy up. Man, just stepping on a basketball court is enough for me to have my energy up. But that's just me.
Well, and I certainly agree with you guys, man. As far as the energy level, you can see it. You can see in their disposition. It was kind of like Luke on one occasion, man. He was getting up, trying to get back down on the floor, and it's like he was running in quicksand. And I don't know why. I mean, trying to explain why they wouldn't have the energy. Maybe they overly asserted themselves, and I can't really give them that in game 4 because they was taken out. of that game. I think it was what late they started putting the,
Yeah,
role players in the game.
yeah.
Then on top of that,
Two
when you think
days,
about it,
2 days rest.
they had what 2 days off. They played the game on Friday. So if you took the private jet up to Boston, you still had Friday. Excuse me, Saturday morning. You had Sunday to rest. So I don't know how you come out. You came out okay. I mean, I thought they did okay. Again, I think this game started to change in the second quarter. You know, when Boston went on a run, I think it was what an 8-0 run or what have you, and I think they got the lead up to like 12 or 14 points, and then the Mavericks just kind of went cold from there. That was really the best run uh, by either team the entire game because it wasn't like Boston shot a really great percentage. They really
Yeah,
made their impact felt um, during that second quarter when they was hitting those threes. They hit a few early on in the third, but later in the third they started to shoot. They went cold. But here's the thing another thing we talked about. This is when you don't pay attention to the scouting report. How in the world you see Pritchard coming to the game? You see him coming to the game. Then we talk about Dallas not missing the free throws. That's why they call it a free throw because it's free. Luka makes the first one, but he missed the second one. Then you let Pritchard get the ball out of bounds. Nobody runs at this man to prevent him from getting the basketball. And he pulls up, and just like he did, I think it was in game
that's a
2
4-point
against Philly.
swing.
Yeah, 4-point swing, DA. Pulls up and hit a three-pointer, man. A
Four,
three-pointer.
4-point
That's not
swing
paying
with
a,
3 seconds left.
yeah, it shouldn't have. Those are the small little details that you got to pay close attention to in the scouting report. Know who's coming in the game. Personally, I don't know if they really wanted it bad enough. Because again, this game, now it wasn't like game 2, game 3. But this game, when Boston went cold, I kept wondering if Dallas was gonna go on one of those maybe 12 because the game's it's a game of mixing making misses and it's a game of runs and we all know this. And I kept wondering if Dallas was gonna go on one of those 10-0 or maybe 12 or 15-2 runs. But every time they miss, for every Dallas one miss, Boston got two chances at the bucket because when they miss, they wind up getting second chances. You know what I mean? And it's just like, man, they just wasn't quick to the basketball. They wasn't getting out the floor. And it was just, to me, it's when you gotta look really deep within yourself and you put a guy like Hardy out there again who didn't play any minutes tonight. You put a guy like Tim Hardaway not in the third quarter, but in the second quarter to see what could have happened. You got to change the chemistry in the lineup. Why he's relying on this dude, Maxi Kleber, I just don't get it, brother. I just don't understand. Why would you put this man out there? He's not making threes. He's not defending. He's not even rebounding. And then again, PJ Washington. And if you're going to do that right there, man, listen, I have no doubt that Nico Harris is one of the best GMs in the game. And I have no doubt that he'll, after the season, now that it's over with, he's going to make, don't be surprised if Dallas done packaged up maybe, 3 players to go get somebody, man, to be that third scorer or be that, like I say, I got Patrick Beverly in mind. If it's a way you can go get a guy like that, man, just to be a little gnat in someone to agitate somebody. I'm not looking for a scoring, but if you can go get someone like that and maybe I don't know how much a Klay Thompson would do if you made a run for him, and we know he's a spot-up guy. I don't know, but you got to get another third score. You just got to get another score. So, Tim, let me come to you, man. And where do the Mavericks go from here, Tim? What do you think?
I think they should get Pascal Siakam, and he's a free agent this year. He's free, and then what I need Pascal Siakam to do is say, hey, make a commitment to Dallas, tell Indiana, hey, I'm going to Dallas. If not, then I'm gonna go somewhere else. But with Dallas, we'll make a trade, and you'll get something back. Otherwise, I'm gonna go somebody else that has cap space, right? Because Dallas gonna need a trade to get it. So Indiana don't have to agree to it. So that will allow them to change the whole thing because he can play both small forward and power forward, and he's a third scorer as well. Matter of fact, he's a 2. He's a number 2 scorer. So he's a consistent 20-point scorer and he's gonna get rebounds, and he does the little things. He plays the little things. Now you got a real lineup with him and PJ, and your center, and you got Kyrie and Luka. That right there changed the whole game for them. They get him, I'm feeling good.
So you saying Siakam
Yes.
and who else? You think
Nah, that's my target right there. Anybody like
Siakam,
him?
right?
Yeah, yeah. Anybody like him too? But Omax is gonna be all right in a second too. Omax is gonna graduate and be a player. That's why I want Siakam because he can bridge the gap for Omax. And Omax can learn from somebody who can actually shoot at the three.
Well, who do you think, Da? Who can the Mavericks that you can foresee going to get to become that third scorer consistently?
I like Clay over Siakam, and that's just because of the two people he named. Because I think they need not only a scorer but another somebody who can just handle the ball a little bit. And it's I would like to see for the Mavericks, Luca play more off the ball, without the ball sometimes, with just because when you know definitely, and every other team knows this, when Kyrie goes out of the game, Luca's probably gonna handle the ball 80-90% of the time.
Right,
They need
right.
they need a person that when Kyrie goes out, Luca still doesn't just normally have to have the ball, even though he can and he knows how to make plays. I like to see him play more off the ball, come through some screens, get some shots like that, and still have another playmaker out there who can handle it if they have to. Clay would be perfect for that. I don't know what the going rate would be, or if the Mavs have that kind of money, because I don't think he's going back to Golden State, to
Golden
be honest.
State.
Yeah, I think he'd be a pretty nice pickup, along with 10 other players, who fits that mold kind of. They don't need much more, but like you say, they need one more constant guy who can. Okay, if both of them are kind of having an off night, I can take over. I can get 40. They don't have that.
Hey, DA,
What was you
that's
about to
not
say,
Klay
Tim?
Thompson game though. He don't really bring the ball up. He can bring it up when there's no defense on him, but he don't handle the ball really well. He stays off the ball most of the time. He run off the screen most of the time and shoots his ball
Yeah,
off of
that's
that.
true.
So he's
Right? Yeah,
good
you're
for
right.
that.
You're
He'd be
right.
good for running off screens and stuff. He'd be a good player for Mavericks because he run
Right.
off the screen and don't really have to control the ball with him.
Yeah,
And
you're
that
right.
allows Kyrie and both Luka to pass the ball to him, and he can
Yeah.
hit his shots. He get a lot of open shots with Dallas, so he would do well with Dallas. I
I
would
think
like
they
him for
need a.
that.
I think they need a ball handler then. Somebody. You right. Clay wouldn't be good. I was thinking score, but yeah, he doesn't handle the ball enough. They need somebody who can score and who can handle the ball when if Kyrie's out of the game. Luca don't. You don't. The defense won't just know. Okay, all we got to do now is get on Luca. He's the only point guard, or the only guard they have in the game. That's my opinion.
Yeah, well, let me shout everybody out, man. Y'all coming in the chat. What y'all thought about tonight's game? The Dallas Mavericks lose to the Boston Celtics, 106-88. It was one of those games where I felt like if Jason Kidd, because I think it starts from the head coach, using the word head first, because he has to be able to see. He really got them red fox glasses on, so he should be able to see everything. The man should have saw this coming with them big old glasses that he normally wear. He should be able to look in the future and saw what was happening out there. And I'm just real surprised, guys. I'm just really surprised, taken back by Jason Kidd and his inability to counter the Boston Celtics with the lineup that he put out there when the lineup wasn't being productive. We're talking about, the possibility of who they can come in as a third scorer and maybe be a perimeter defender or a better ball handler, rebounder, whatever the case may be. I know the Boston Celtics have been talking about moving Levine. There's a couple other players. I don't know all of the free agents that are out there this year, but they got to be able to say, look, they went through the West, and we know teams are getting stronger, man. You look at the younger team that's coming up, because I think San Antonio, when that young fella, man, Wemby, when he get his feet under him about the NBA, put a little bit more strength on him this offseason, I think they coming. I think the Houston Rockets, they're coming. Green and them guys. Of course, we already know about Gildress and them. Oklahoma. Ja Morant, if his head is right, Memphis will be back. So you got some young nucleus that's coming up. And every day for the Dallas Mavericks is another day getting, getting, with the exception of people like Lively. But if you're talking about like the backcourt Kyrie, there is some things I think that Luka can add to his game, incorporate in his game if he's willing to do that. But I'm wondering this, guys, and I'll come to you on this right quick, DA, because I'm wondering when I look at Luka. I know if you was a GM, I think you would just package him up and just send him on send him on his way. But since that's not gonna happen, since that's one of those Jerry Jones, if Jerry wasn't the GM and Jerry went whatever. The point I'm simply making with Luka though, is they say, if it walks like a duck and it sounds like a duck, it's a duck. Will he at this stage of his career be willing to make the change to play off the ball and not be so ball dominant? Especially, let's say if you go get a guy like Donovan Mitchell. I'm just saying, I don't know. I mean, to say that it couldn't happen, I can't say that because when the Lakers went and got like a Russell Westbrook, you got Anthony Davis, you got LeBron James. Then you go get, we even talk about back in the day, you go get a Ray Allen or a Kevin Garnett or Paul Pierce. Why come they can't go make this happen if they really want to make it happen? Now, will Cleveland, try to match whatever they supposed to do without? I don't know. I'm just simply saying when you look at this roster for next year, you're not far away. What adjustment do you make? So DA, I'm just saying, do you think Luka can make those adjustments, or is he willing to make those adjustments to play off the ball?
If I were his coach, I would tell him, I think, man, he just plays basketball all year round. And, when it comes to NBA, I mean, some of them do, but he plays competitive basketball all year round. Does he? He never really gets in the type of shape. I don't know if he's in shape, he just plays too much, or he's really not in the tip-top shape. Like there may be another level of shape that he needs to get to play his type of game. If not, you gotta play a different style. And if I'm the coach, I'm gonna tell him, hey, I want you to come off screens more next year. I don't want you to just come down and that it's been well communicated by me that I hate that style, that bounce.
Yeah, I know you.
If they got to get a bump, I hate that. I just think I'm just not that kind of coach. I want to see my players go. I want to see them get to the hoop. I want to see them take it. Stop trying to draw a foul and just go to the hoop. You're gonna get a foul. I hate all of that. He bumped me. Oh, I leaned. No, just play ball. Like, I don't like his style anyway, so it will be very hard for me to coach him.
Let me shout the queen out. Let me shout the queen out right quick. Y'all see Queen Peaches Alexander. She's in the house with us again once again, fellas. Shout out to your Peaches. But as I put up already, she said Boston wanted to celebrate at home. That's why they let the Mavericks basically win on Saturday. I knew Boston was going to sweep them tonight. But she says she's still a fan. Yeah, we all still a fan. We just disappointed. Again, the Dallas Mavericks lose. We saw the writing on the wall, but I do think there was a lot of people that were still hopeful. At least I was. I didn't want to say too much. We know it was 176 teams in the NBA final who's never done this. So now it make it 177. I don't know if it'll ever happen in our lifetime. I probably doubt it, but I was just kind of hoping that they could have kept that energy going from the last game on Friday and came out and played much better, which normally the games up in Boston was getting away from them in the third. I kind of felt like, man, we started out good in the first quarter. We was right there in the second quarter, and then Boston went on that little run. And I just couldn't figure it out for the life of me. Why, Jason Kidd? Why? I mean, do they have something on you that we don't know about? Tim Hardaway come off the bench the last game. The man make 5 straight threes. Got 15 points like within 6 minutes. And you don't even play the man until 3 minutes left in the third. It's just unbelievable, guys. Just unbelievable. Tim, you say what?
Yeah, to not put him in just to see if he was on fire, and he still
Right.
had that what he had from that last game was
Yep.
just stupid.
Yep.
Only thing I could think of, and I was trying to think, are you trying to make sure they can't adjust to him in the second half? Is the reason why you don't want to put him in the first? I was like, I'm trying to think why you not putting him in to see if he got that fire in that
Right.
right?
Right.
Fine, he got that fire because you guys are missing threes. Everybody on your
Yes.
team is missing threes. Put him in the game, see if he and let him shoot more than one. He only
Yes.
shot one three. He shot one
Yes.
three, missed one three. He only
Yes.
shot one, right? And it wasn't a great shot at that, but he shot it. You know, he black hole once he get the ball.
Yeah, it's trash time.
Exactly. So with it was trash time when he started hitting those threes too. It wasn't like the company.
No, I don't mean trash time.
I know,
like
I know it. I know what you meant, but I'm just saying it was also trash time when he was in those threes though.
Yeah.
But you still need to find out where he still had that hot hand. Did he find his stroke? And you need to have him shoot multiple shots. And like you said, he should have been in for Cleveland because Cleveland's reluctant to shoot his three. Cleveland's reluctant to dive on the ground because he hurt his shoulder. Cleveland is reluctant to pick his hands up too high because his shoulder hurts. So to me, why are you playing? So I haven't wanted Cleveland on the floor since he's been hurt.
Right.
So that's different. I was telling you guys before he got hurt because he was
Yeah.
in his threes and he plays good defense, but he's unwilling to dive and do the extra stuff in this game. And this is a championship game where you got to do extra. You don't win unless you do extra in this game. So that's what I have a problem with. And then I'll say this about Luka for next year. Luka can play off now. People are forgetting that he's still unhealthy during this playoffs. And I watch him how he rebounds. That's the biggest thing you can see that's different for him is that he rebounds the ball. He's a dominant rebounder when he's healthy. He gets to the ball. He couldn't get to the ball. That tells me he's unhealthy right there because I've watched the game before how he makes sure he blocks out people and he gets the ball. He loves rebounding the ball. And I think this would have been serious. He would have got 14 or 15 rebounds sometimes during some of these games because of they were playing so small. But he's unhealthy. He can't get to the ball. So to me, that makes a difference. And like I said before, nobody really cares about it when you hurt because it's a world championship.
Well, let me ask you guys this: when you look at the overall finals, these NBA finals, you look at the overall finals. What game do you all think was the one game when you look back was that game when you say this is when I knew Dallas was in trouble?
Yeah, game 2.
You saying game 2?
Yep. Game 2 when the role players never stepped up during that time. It was the role players. Kyrie was playing terrible, but they had Luka because Luka played good in that second game.
Yeah.
They had Luka and the role players. It would have said, okay, cool, Kyrie gonna get his. I would have been like, okay, Kyrie gonna get back to his, right? And that means they would have won game 2, and then even if they would have been 2-2, and they go, what y'all? We at least have a game 6, right? Yeah. We at least get to a game 6. But when they couldn't do that second game, that was scary. DA called that. He said, hey, whoever win the second game gonna win the series.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give some credit to DA on our show.
Yeah, I just felt that.
Man, let me shout out
game 2.
Let me shout out to the people in the comment, man. We got the women on here tonight, man. The women, I got the women shouting out this evening, man. More so
all
than
the men mad in bed. Men are too mad. Come on.
Shout out to Shay Jones. She said, yes, I agree. Luka need to stop being a ball hog and learn how to share the ball. And all of them need to practice on their free throw. Boy, she absolutely right there.
We forgot to talk about that.
Free throws, those are free.
Yeah.
And we need to make them. Absolutely. That's why I said earlier, they're free. They call them free for a reason. I mean, you get up there, Jones step up there, he missed. Luka, of course, we know about him missing. I think PJ did get up there. And so those are kind of things when you look back on the game, man, the little nuances in the game. If I had to say when I look back on this series, because I was dead serious about when I said this, guys, I felt like Dallas could have won game 1. I really believe that Dallas could have won and stole that first game.
Yeah, they could.
But what happened, I think again, when they inserted Porzingis into the lineup, it kind of like discombobulated them a little bit, as if no one knew because he had been out for so long, and they didn't make the necessary adjustments the way they should have. And they let this guy stand out there and just shoot. It made him feel comfortable. You remember me saying that. They allowed Kristaps Porzingis to feel comfortable. And I believe that, to me, set the tone. It set the tone. Because, even though Dallas, game 2 and 3 was very winnable, I think game one really set the tone for the Boston Celtics in this series. Because that was a game that the Mavericks, I felt like had they set the tone and got more physical with Porzingis, even winded him out a little bit. Because we all know there's a different tempo, it's a different game, man. When you're talking about practice versus the game, it's a difference. It is. I tell guys this all the time. If you relate it to football, it's like it's a difference in your timing. Even if you're playing on the defense and your timing, when you're tackling your opponent, if you're running a route, it's all it's different. It's different. So you get those practices in, but when the light flips on, it's time to play. It's just different. So for them guys to make him feel so comfortable, never ran him up and down the court, never tested his win level. Forget just letting him sit out there and shoot. You guys never tested his win level. I want to see, can he sprint up and down the court? I want to see what his cardio is like. And the Dallas Mavericks never did it. So to me, it had to been game one, man, because if they go steal game one, now you're talking about maybe a different series. Maybe we are looking at a game 7 series. But when that didn't happen,
but they've always
Kyrie,
lost game
for whatever reason, hold on for a second, DA. Kyrie could not get out of his head. I don't know. He took up too much real estate in his head. As soon as Kyrie sucked. I'm saying when you talk about superstars, when you talk about the Michael Jordans, man, the Magic Johnsons, the Larry Birds, they live for that kind of stuff. Jordan sit back. I remember, like I was sharing with DA earlier, the guy was reading a book behind the bench, and he was reading the Jordan rules and just talking loud as he could. And Jordan just, not that he was impervious or couldn't, wasn't able to be penetrated with what the guy was saying, but Jordan was he lived for that. And I'm talking about, that's why I say, man, keep the goat out your mouth, man. Keep Michael Jeffrey Jordan out your mouth. Because that dude, you talk about mental toughness, man. Some of these guys, you bump them a little bit, and they start going. You can see it in their eyes. They start, tensing up a little bit. They don't want that ball anymore. They don't want to get down in them blocks. They don't want to bang. Shoes, man. I can only imagine, Jordan after the game when he was in the ice tub and stuff like this, taking the pounding that he did against the likes of a Boston Celtics. Detroit Pistons back then. Roughing him up and all that. So that's why I say, man, keep Jordan out your mouth, man, because none of these dudes, none of them is on that man level, man. No, not from what I've been able to witness. So Kyrie, although that's one of the greatest point guards to play the game, the skill position, man, what he brings to the game. I'm just simply saying, DA, now that you comment on this, but I'm just simply saying, you had a chance to go up there. What was it, 3 times up in Boston, and the results was really never the same. It was really never the same. Da.
Yeah, why I don't think it was game one, because they've been losing game ones the whole time, and it's always on somebody else's court. So if you lose game one, not a big deal. But game 2 was winnable. That's the only reason I'm saying game 2. That game was very winnable. That was the game that Boston usually.
Well, they beat Minnesota though.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, I wouldn't panic if they lose game 1, because, and if I panic if they lose game 1 at home, they were always on the road, so it wasn't really a big deal because they could still get one. So game 2 was the one where they were serving up like, okay, here's the one that we want to give you, Mavericks. Kyrie don't show up. Very winnable game. They can't get that one. So I'm like, okay, y'all go in here and steal game 2. You can forget all about what happened in game 1. None of that even matters no more. Porzingis coming in, he gets hurt, you beat him, you cripple him, you take him mentally. And even if they do win another game in Dallas, you got 6 games. You coming back to Dallas for game 6.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Yeah,
and another
right.
thing,
DA.
Huh? One last thing, Jabril. One last thing about what you were talking about, mental toughness. I be thinking, man, I can't recall where any of those guys back in the day would just where they just wasn't all when the lights came on, they were just balling. I ain't saying they had perfect games, but they were out there giving it all. Like everything was, they would, especially in the playoffs, they were battling like hard. And it seems like now it's a hit and miss with these guys, man. So I don't get it.
That's true. The hit and miss part of this thing, it is a hit and miss with some of these players. When the lights go on, some of them just don't, they don't perform. You have some guys who are just practice players, but they can't translate it over to a real game. They can't. They do good in practice. They assimilate what the coach is asking them to do, but when the bright lights are on, it just doesn't translate. But again, and then you got some guys, who are better. They pay attention to details, more so than other guy, but may not have that skill set like the other guy, because some guys can make up for some of their own shortcomings, so to speak. But I don't know. When I look back, and I brought this up a second ago, when Pritchard came in and hit that shot, man, right before halftime, and he had done that before. I know they have to have seen the scouting report. I just know they have. I just know. I mean, how do you not have this on your scouting report? Because I've seen an NBA scouting report before. Every player on that scouting report has a name, he has a number, and he has his strengths, his weakness, his skill set. What he do best, what he don't do best. I've seen it. And I know when you come to Pritchard, it has to say something regarding him hitting long shots. They've even said it when he hit the shot. You understand? So when he hit the shot after Luka missed the free throw, in my mind, I'm saying I'm running to get him, because they just put him in the game, and I don't even know if he played anymore in the game. Did y'all see him? I don't know if y'all saw him or not.
I think at the end of the game,
I don't even know if
he might have got in at the end, maybe.
But I'm saying, Tim, come on, man. Work
man,
with
that
me
was
here.
just luck, man. He couldn't do that again in 100 years.
Tim, come on. We know what a sky report look like, TJ. We know the sky report. If he come in the game and you see it's like 4 seconds left in the game, what is that telling you, TJ?
Well, we lamented that too. That was a lament, because you're supposed to get every guy and make them have to shoot the ball over you, right? You get in front of everybody. Wherever the ball is, you get in front of the ball and make sure, just the guys. And some guys are hanging back, so you don't even have to cover them. So all other guys should be up on somebody that's actually close to headed towards the goal. That's the only ones you have to cover. And they were just running back and not covering nobody. So that's that laziness. The same thing they was doing by not getting out on the 3-point shooters is the same thing they did on that play right there. So to me, they was missing a link this game. So when I saw that in the game, when I said they wasn't getting out on the 3-pointers, I was like, okay, if they not gonna if Kid ain't gonna pull and call a timeout and say, hey, get up on these guys and don't let them have free access to 3-pointers, and don't, the drive is easier, better than the 3-pointer, right? Because these guys don't hit 3-pointers, we can actually keep up with the game. But if they hit 3-pointers, we get blown out. You can't give them both drives and 3-pointers. We gave them everything they wanted right there. And then I'm thinking about this, and I want to say this real quick about Luka. Luka dying. That's his major problem. He works out enough. If he playing all those games, he works out enough to be in shape. It's his diet. His diet will slow you down.
I agree.
That boy drinking beers and all that kind of stuff. You know he want to drink more beers. Beers are part of his diet. If he's doing that, his diet is not good. That's the problem. As much as basketball players play, if you eat right, you lean. I can eat right without even moving like they do and be lean. So that tells me his diet, what he puts in his mouth, is too much.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Tim. For those of you who are just joining us, this is the replay where we're still trying to make your day. We are recapping the NBA Finals. The Dallas Mavericks, they lose to the Boston Celtics 106-88. And we're just talking about it, guys. If you can come out in the, comment in the chat, let us know what you think, how you feel, what's your thoughts, comment, we'll share that and shout you out. But guys, and I agree with you, Tim, on that, man. It's his diet. And again, at some point, you get into this thing, right? Because he's been to one Western Conference final. He finally crossed over that hump. Then he gets into a final, and now you know what it tastes. What it tastes like. Now you have to look in the mirror and you ask yourself, how do I get over the hump? How do I get over the hump? What can I do better? Now that you got a taste of what the finals is like, or what it's gonna take, to get there again. I think they have a blueprint. I think one of the good things I said this before, with the Dallas Mavericks, uh, you know, shout out to the Boston Celtics again, because those guys lost to the Golden State Warriors in 2022, and they've even lost in the Eastern Conference Finals. And when they was favored to go to the finals and they lost, they've been battle tested. They've been through some things. When you talk about the Boston Celtics, with the exception again of Drew Holiday and Christoph Porzingis coming over, those guys basically been together for about 5+ years. We just had a trade with Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington in February or March, early March. So, you know, they haven't been into a Dallas Mavericks training camp, So I think for them to be able to do what they did, that's why I got to give them a big shout out, because no one really, they went from not really, playing defense at all. They weren't known for playing defense to being one of the better defensive teams in the league the past 2 months. So I think they have a lot to build on. Now the issue becomes: are you going to allow the rest of the NBA in the West, especially in the West, to catch up with you based on what other teams do in the offseason? Because you have a nucleus, but you got to build on. But I just don't think they can sit idle or stagnant and not do anything. Because again, you know what it takes to get there now. You know what it takes to get there. But I do believe Nico Harris, again, being the Dallas Mavericks general manager, will make certain moves. I think it's time you package up guys like not PJ Washington, but Josh Powell. I think it's going to be hard to keep Tim Hardaway around Junior, because just seeing how these playoffs played out for him, they gave up Finney Smith in that trade. This was the thing, too, in that trade. I said this actually in another series. I hated they had to give up Dinwiddie in that package deal, because Dinwiddie is a kind of guard that can come off and get his own shot. He can create his own shot. I don't know. I think Dinwiddie left and went to the Lakers. Yeah, he went to the Lakers, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't do well with the Lakers.
No, and so what I'm saying is, he made, they brought Seth Curry back 3 times. So if he's available, I would like to see him come off our bench. Because again, he can go get his own shot. But it's going to be real interesting to see what the Dallas Mavericks do going forward, guys, because this was a series that really, styles do make fights. They took one of Dallas's weapons away, which was the lob. Boston did an excellent job, and sometimes they didn't even have a big man in the game when they was taking the lobs away. That was, the Dallas Mavericks was hanging their hats on the pick and roll, and Luka doing that. And that's another thing, to your credit, DA. Now come to you, DA. When you talk about Luka with the bouncing and all this other stuff, what happens when other teams take what you want to do, the best of what you want to do? What happens when they take that away? Can you make those adjustments? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think, man, that's why I didn't understand the energy, levels, and Kyrie not being right, because it's hard to get there, man. Like, who knows when the next time you make it? You got to navigate so many things during the season. You got to navigate injuries. What if this player isn't right this year? What if you don't gel like you thought? It's so many things that can happen that when you get there, there's no way you shouldn't be playing every game, starting from game 1. Like it's the last game. When you get in the finals,
I agree, DA.
It's the finals for a reason. This is final. I ain't gonna be loafing in no game. I'll tell my coach, I'm giving 1,000% when I hit this court. If I look tired, pull me out, give me a rest. But when I'm out there, I'm giving everything. I'm going for every rebound. I'm on the floor at all times. That's how you got to look at it. Or you be at home thinking about, man, I sure wish I had Man, if I had been boxing out, I should have been boxing out on that play, or I could have gotten that rebound, or I should have been on the floor. You can't think like that, man. You get paid too much money. It's too many. The whole world is watching. It's millions being bet on you. I ain't gonna never be the weak link. I might have a bad game. I ain't gonna have no bad energy. I tell you that much. I'm gonna be out there,
Yeah, because you know what?
floor doing whatever.
You know what? I like that. I like that comment though, D. And you're absolutely right. Sometimes your shot may not be falling.
Yeah,
It may
do other
not be
things.
falling, but there are other things that you can do. In case in point, we saw Derek White, who already looked like a little alien,
Yeah,
go dive on the floor and get his teeth knocked out. You understand?
and got hot after that.
Huh?
Got hot after he got knocked the tooth out. Came back
You know
and
what I'm
got
saying?
hot.
Refused to come out of the game, stayed in the game, and he was a contributor. And the same thing can be said for Porzingis. Porzingis really, come on, if this was a regular season game, or if it was the first round of playoff, he wouldn't have played. He was laboring the whole night, and I knew he was going to be unaffected. But they know, hey man, I got all off season to rest now. I got to go. We got to go for the gusto, and that's exactly what they did, man. So again, big shout out to the Boston Celtics, man. They've been a while. The same thing. They've been hearing the chit chat. They've been hearing the noise. And guys, I know I'm gonna come around. I guess y'all probably know. I still don't know who's the MVP, but I had Jaylen Brown being MVP. You got it, okay. I think you wanted Drew Holiday. Da, who did you have, Tim?
What's it now?
Who did you think was deserving of the NBA MVP?
Jaylen Brown, but close second was Drew Holiday. Close second was Drew Holiday. I think Jaylen Brown, because Jaylen Brown defense, Drew Holiday plays defense too, but Jaylen Brown also had the offense. And Drew at that moment, he initiated things, but Jaylen Brown carried it through. So because Drew would actually do some things, and then he would sit back and do and play. But then Jaylen Brown was a catalyst to keep everything going most of the whole series. So and he carried them the first two series more than anybody else.
Y'all shout to comment for me. Let me know who y'all thought should have been the NBA MVP, the Finals MVP. Was it Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, or did they get it right? Was it Derek White? Was it Christopher Porzingis? Who you think should have been out? Or Drew Holiday? Yeah. Well, Peter
I think
said
they were just destined to win.
She thought it should have been Jaylen Brown as well. I'm quite sure a great percentage, a great majority would have said Jaylen Brown, because you're absolutely right, TJ. I think in crucial moments when shots needed to be made, when they could have gotten down, when they was up 21, the Mavericks made their comeback. They cut the lead when Luka fouled out and cut the lead to 93 to 92, I believe it was. They could have got down. But Jaylen Brown, he hung in there, man, kept his paws. He made the big shots when his team needed it. So big shout out to Jaylen Brown. I think he did a heck of a job, man, and finally getting over that hump. I think he proved to a lot of people who left him off of that first team All NBA. I think he took it personal, even though he was trying to be professional about it. I think it did. It affected him, and he knew he had Luka that everybody was talking about, and he was out to prove a point, not just on the offensive end, but also the defensive end. And I think the young fella did exactly that, man. He did exactly that. He earned his $300 million, and that's how you do it. You don't get in your feelings. You don't go out there now. You sign the big money, and all of a sudden we don't. Now you don't got. You're not hungry anymore. You don't have the same fervor that you had prior to before signing the money. You full now. This is the problem I have with a lot of players, man. I mean, if you can translate that in the NBA onto the NFL, even in Major League Baseball, when the numbers start to drop, man, you see it. These dudes ain't hungry no more. But this guy signs a $300 million contract. You understand? A $300 million contract, and he came to play. And whatever his deficiencies were or are, whatever case may be, he made his weaknesses his strengths. He took the challenge. He guarded Luka. He attacked the rim when he had to, and he defended the rim when he had to. So yeah, man, this guy was definitely deserving of the MVP. I know guys like Drew Holiday and them, they played a major role. Shout out to the role players and the starters, man. They came and did what they were supposed to do. And You can't say the Boston man didn't deserve it. They was definitely deserving to win the championship. But again, I can't, discount my Dallas Mavericks because we had one heck of a year to come out of nowhere, and people wasn't even expecting Dallas Mavericks to really be there. You know what I'm saying? They was expecting Denver to maybe repeat. Then there's been some talk about, and I'll come to you on this, TJ, because there's been some talk about, had Styles do make fights, and Denver would have been a better opponent. I'm just not buying it. I'm just not buying it because one thing I heard of Fat Boy Dumbo say that was true. I'll give him that. Charles Barkley was in the NBA. There's no lucky champion because you play 7 games. This is not March Madness when you play in the college game and guy hit a shot buzzer, i.e. North Carolina State against the Houston Cougars. Derek Wittenberg just threw up a shot and Lorenzo Charles dunked the ball back in. And they go on to be, NCAA champs in I believe 1985, I guess, whatever it was, 1984, whatever it was. But I'm simply saying the on the NBA level, there's no such thing as a lucky champion because you get a chance to play a team 7 times, man, 7 times. So all this stuff about the Dallas Mavericks, Denver should have been there or Minnesota would have been but no, I'm not hearing that, man. I'm not hearing that. I'm just not hearing it because you can talk about Joker, you can talk about, Murray is not Kyrie. I don't think Jamal Murray would have done any better than Kyrie Irving. I just don't think so. So that's hindsight 2020, Tim. But you say what?
I think Jamal Murray was having a little trouble in the playoffs, and actually Wade Dixon, Tatum, and Jaylen Brown was playing, especially Jaylen Brown playing defense. And you talking about Drew Holiday playing on him? No, it would have been different in the series because they had Drew Holiday this time, and Drew Holiday would have made Murray sweat. Okay, bring up the ball and everything, and he would have switched with Jaylen Brown, switch on him as well too. He would have had a rough time because they don't have another shooting guard. The other guard is the off guard who's a catch and shoot. So with that, they would have had a rough time because they could switch whichever one they need to be the most effective, especially with length. Murray's gonna have a hard time with length at the time, and he wasn't hot yet. So that's the other thing. His game wasn't on yet, and then the other parts of their team wasn't playing really well. So yeah, no. Style makes fights, but I'll say this: they style wasn't ready this year. They didn't have the team this year. Boston did have the team this year. And another thing to go along with that, just hit one point. No, we'll get that later. But I want to mention when we get a chance, remind me of 4 players that can make a difference for the Mavericks for next year. But I agree with you. Dallas was the best team because actually they won. They got there.
Yeah, what you think, DA?
I don't even know why we're talking about Denver. Because they wasn't ready.
No.
Yeah, I just heard some people trying to make that
I
statement.
stopped talking about Denver after I thought Denver would have been a better matchup against Dallas versus Minnesota, but that's all I had to say about Denver. That's all I thought. But man, my final take on the game itself, it was Boston was just destined to win that game.
Yeah,
energy.
Yeah.
Dallas didn't have the energy.
Yeah.
Coaching was horrible. Al Horford hit a couple threes early, and I told you, Brill, if this dude hitting a couple threes early, man, you might as well pack him in.
Right.
Then this guy, then Luka misses another free throw with 3 seconds left, however many seconds left. Do y'all know this dude did not just throw that? He shot a jump shot. They just showed the highlight of that shot again.
It's an air ball, right?
Up behind the half court line, put his 2 feet together and shot that ball. Not just a throw or one leg. You know how Steph does a lot. He actually took a shot and hit that. That's a 4-point turn. All of that happens, man. Ain't nothing you can do. It's just their day. It's just their day.
Yeah. What Tim? You said something about 4 guys that you think. Who are they?
Yeah, I was thinking about organically how the Mavericks can grow. I was thinking about these 4 guys. You got Jaden Hardy, young, getting better, learning more and more from Kyrie. He actually showed a little bit more patience from these playoffs. And he showed he has the toughness, internal toughness to play in the playoffs. So he played really well and within himself pretty good in the playoffs. Omax, which we don't get a chance to see this playoff. I think we'll get a chance to see him in the regular season, see him grow during the regular season. He's 6'7", got long arms, look like he's 6'8", 6'9", the way he can jump, and he got long arms, be a real good defensive player, can help on the wing. That's one of the problems Dallas have. Now you have 3 guys on the wings that can play the wings in the power forward. So Omax, then you got organically, you got, of course, we all know about Lively, right? So Lively can grow, and then PJ Washington can grow. And so, along with Derrick Jones, I thought with Derrick Jones too. But those are the guys that I was thinking about that could grow inorganically, besides the team growing because they haven't been that much time together, which you guys already pointed out. But those guys right there can make a big difference next year by just growth. I mean, I promise you, you think about yourself. Just think about you, how you can improve one year to the next as you learn something for the first time. And so some of these guys, we got a brand new, they only been here 1 year. And so there's a lot of growth within that team that can grow together. And you made it mention earlier, Jabril, about how Boston was together 5 years. So they got a lot of chance to actually grow inorganically, even with other teams coming along. But you know, LeBron James is free as well, by the way.
Oh no, man, we don't want that. We don't want no LeBron James, and no, we don't want this.
But man, I don't agree though.
Ooh.
I don't agree with that because Boston ain't got but 2 players that's been there. The rest of them dudes wasn't there. Porzingis wasn't there. Derrick White wasn't there. Drew Holiday wasn't there.
White been there.
Derrick White just
Derrick
got
White
there.
been there. Derrick White been there for at least 4.
He just
Derrick White
got
been
there.
there for at least 3 or 4
No,
years.
they just got him. He been there for a year and a half.
Yeah, he ain't been there that long. They got him from it was Phoenix, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He used to wear the big hair with the headband. He was with Phoenix, and they just got him.
He might have
I
been
know
with
that
the
ain't been
Bulls. I
2
think he with the Bulls. Nah, he with the Bulls. I think when he started out, he was with the Bulls. But
They
I
got a
gotta
whole
look at
different
it up.
team, man. He left Phoenix
Yeah,
and
because
went
I
to
remember
Boston.
I watched Derrick White. I think he played when he played at North Carolina.
Well, I
he
will
wrote-
say about the top guys, you're right. That's Dallas with the top guys too. So I agree with you. But I'm just talking about 1 year. So I was just saying that the 5 years, you got your base together 5 years. And you got the base of the Dallas Mavericks. They got their base.
Man, it's
there.
just gonna be rough, man. It's gonna be rough. Getting back is hard. It's hard.
Yeah,
It's always hard. It's gonna be
yeah.
hard for
It's
Boston.
we'll see. Like
It's gonna be hard for Boston too, because you talking about Philly.
Yeah.
If Embiid ever stays healthy, Boston have a hard time with Embiid.
Yep.
That's a tough matchup for them. Embiid, and they got room enough to get one more max player.
Yeah.
So they talking about getting not PJ Watt, but they talking about getting Paul George, for example.
Yeah.
So Paul George been meeting up and talking with him a little bit. So Philly may be a team coming along, and he likes to run. He said he likes to run like Tyrese Maxey likes to push the ball up. So he said he likes to run. So he may be going over there.
I just never saw the East winning it this year. I just didn't. The West was so tough. Like you couldn't even get the Lakers and Phoenix and Golden State. I'm thinking, oh, the West so loaded. East ain't got a shot.
I would have loved to see
I shouted out Boston though.
Oh, I like to see Porzingis healthy as well as Luka healthy.
Yeah. I shouted out Boston earlier to DA, and DA told me, he said, man, Boston ain't got a chance because they too inconsistent. I said, well, I ain't really watched them all year like that. They do have the best record in the NBA. And, once they, of course, they had the easiest path to the NBA finals because of the injuries but, you play the people who are in front of you. And one of the things that they did, they went in and took those guys out and got to the NBA finals and did what they were supposed to do. So, again, shout out to the Boston Celtics. But
That's
guys,
why they play the game.
We don't have, like I say, we're going to be back on this thing again, hopefully, God willing, on Thursday, man. Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Central Time. We want to jump on here, and talk about and recap what happened this evening. Again, the Boston Celtics is your 2024 NBA champions. They defeated the Dallas Mavericks 106-88. Let me look at one more comment here. Shay, let me reach out. She says, fellows. When we shoot the ball, why don't we follow through and get the rebound and take it back up? Also, Hardaway and Cleveland Gafford may need to be traded. What are y'all thoughts? Appreciate that, Shay. Real quick, I'll just say, like I said before, and that's a good point she make. DA, I said that about that. Guys not following their shot, man. They just took one shot. They don't even go to the ball. Boston got every loose rebound. They got every loose rebound. I mean, it was like they just, Drew Holiday, Derrick White, and them guys just happened to be in the right place at the right time. They hustle, they making those hustle plays. But now to your question, I definitely think Hardaway, how he was utilized on the back end, especially during the playoff. Kleber, um, I can see them still keeping him around. Daniel Gafford, he's going to be there. They just traded for him. So I think they'll package up somebody like Hardaway, Josh Powell. I think they'll keep young Hardy, who, again, he didn't even get in the game tonight, and I wonder why. So they'll keep those guys. And who knows, they may have to give up another, maybe they second round pick if they try to really, really get a player. I'm going to check that free agency. Hopefully we'll have something back on Thursday. But that's a great question, Shay. Guys, what do y'all think for a question, DA?
I think in the pros, most of them don't follow their own shots, but I do think, and I preach this from regular season to preseason. Anytime I'm watching basketball, I'm a firm believer in at least two other players going to the rack after when somebody's shooting a three. I mean, the average team shoots 30-some%. That means 7 out of 10 times the ball's coming off the rim. Most times, teams just shooting, everybody standing around and like, oh, I hope he make it. So I'm with her on that, except for the person shooting is probably not gonna follow the shot if it's a three. But I agree with her. At least two other people need to be going to that basket almost every 3-point shot, in my opinion.
That's really,
not standing around looking. But you say what, TJ?
I said that's really a shame because actually the person who should judge his shot best should be the guy who's shooting it. Right. Now I would say because they're professional, most coaches expect them to do it, but also coaching is that too. Coaching should be, hey guys, you should understand how to read. But professional coaches, man, as a player, knowing professional coaches ain't that deep. They don't get into that what you call they coach your film on the day, and usually every once in a while some of them will tell you some stuff, but most of them they're not that good.
Right.
People be called in. Most coaches ain't that good. Most coaches don't see the little things and don't tell you the little things during the game. Most guys professionally have to figure that stuff out on their own. And most coaches, like we sit on the sideline, we say, okay, coaches tell that guy to follow behind his shot and do all, say, hey, if you should be able to tell if you follow behind shot, and you should follow your shot. No, the coaches have a philosophy of, hey, you need to get back when you shoot, right? Or you need to attack the basket. Coaches usually have that philosophy, and those guys must meet that philosophy instead of saying, hey, you should have the judgment to say, hey, I want you to get back, but if you see your shot is off and you see that it may come back to you, you need to get that rebound, right? You would think that would be something that coaches would say enough so the guys would get it through. They don't say it. I promise you. They ain't saying a word. Most of these coaches ain't good enough to say it.
Well, they asked Jason Kidd at the podium, one of the after post-game interviews, and they asked him in regards to the missed free throws, and he had this kind of stoic response. He was kind of like, free throws? He said, we work on the free throws. I mean, they're professionals, so I don't know if they offering any type of evaluation assessment or take them through where they just shooting free throws for at least 30 minutes, during practice or not. But it was just, the answer was so dry, like there are certain things, even as a professional, I gotta still, I'm gonna work on my craft, work on my game, maybe even get my own coach. But I think just as a team, there are certain things you still want to try to implement in your practices, the fundamentals, because you can never get away. That what made, the Kobe Bryants and the Michael Jordan so great. And I remember Kobe Bryant was talking about Michael Jordan, how he didn't waste space. His footwork game was so, he didn't have a flaw. I mean, this is what other professionals saying about Michael Jordan. And Kobe always said, he said, I don't like when they say or try to compare, would I have defeated Michael Jordan in his prime and stuff like that. Because he said, what you see in me is from Michael Jordan. He said Michael didn't waste space, and his footwork was impeccable. So he had no flaws. Imagine that. And I told y'all, I share the story with y'all all the time. When I saw the NBA scouting report on Michael Jordan by way of Tim Hardaway Sr., and I had never read an NBA scouting report prior to this. And on there, it said, everybody, Scottie Pippen, force him this way, do this. And when it got to Michael Jordan, it simply said, do your best. Do your best. I had never seen that. Not in football, not in the NFL, not in nothing. It simply said, do your best. So there you have it. I mean, and this is your peers talking. This is your peers talking. So you got to go in the gym and put the work in. You got to whatever whatever you know what your strengths are. You able to identify what your strengths are. But the minute you recognize where you're weak at, that's what you got to work on. And Luka, I'm just gonna say this before we have to end this segment, guys. He's gonna have to go back and reevaluate. Uh, and asked himself, if we're back in this position again, what can I do to play better? Because again, you slowing the game down. You guys are open in the corner. I saw one time he went down there and they trapped him down there. He was kind of like almost in the middle. Josh Green was standing over in the corner and he didn't even pass the ball guy. He waited for the double team to come. Stuff like that. You ain't moving the ball like a Larry Bird. So he got to go back and watch tape, watch film, man, and say, what can I get better at? That's my take on it, guys. But look, guys, we got to wrap this show up, man, this evening, man. This has been a wonderful, wonderful NBA season. And guys, I'm so happy to have, guys like yourself, my brothers, man, Daryl Alexander the Great, as well as Tim Maxon Jackson, who've been really riding with me for quite some time. And we started this thing back in September, made it through the NFL season, made it through, even the Texas Rangers when they won the World Series, and now we done made it through an NBA Finals. Guys, man, I appreciate you, brothers, man. We've been doing this, and this is our championship too. That's how I look at it, because we're coming back up on football season just around the corner. We got to go through this little stretch. You know how we can go through. But listen, we got the Summer Olympics. We got the Summer Olympics.
Yep, we do.
That they'll have the track and field trials and stuff like that. So we'll still be talking about that, guys. So again, man, this has been the replay where we continue to always try to make your day. Guys, is anybody you need to shout out? Who you shouting out, DA?
Man, I'm shouting out a guy I shouted out a few shows ago. I'm shouting out Joe Mazzulla, man. This brother had never been a head coach. He's like, he wasn't even a head coach in high school or junior high. He was just assistant. And he was the fourth assistant for Boston. They consider him the fourth assistant on his assistant depth chart. And he was chosen to be the head coach. And that's divine intervention right there, man, for somebody to pick over a few more guys and bring you in as a head coach. In 2 or 3 years, you got a finals, man. That's blessing right there, brother.
And DA, I got to concur with you on this, because to step in under the circumstances in which he did with Uduke, I think, if I pronounced his name correctly, when he got into that situation, with what was his name again? Boston's the coach before him, Udoka. Yeah, to step in and doing all that turmoil and what was going on then, man, I think so. That's a big shout out to Joe Mazzulla. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But who you shouting out, Tim?
I'm shouting out to entire Mavericks, because they weren't expected to be here. A lot of people didn't wonder if they were going to make the playoffs. They definitely didn't think Kyrie and Luka would work at all, right? And we got entertained for all the way to the finals of the NBA finals this year. So we got a chance to enjoy and actually get a chance to analyze and actually enjoy this ride. The Mavericks making way farther than anybody ever thought they was going to make it. So, matter of fact, most people thought they was going to lose in the first round. They wasn't going nowhere. They expected them to lose against the LA Clippers. And every round, they expected them to lose. So, they made it to the finals, and we got a chance to enjoy it. So, shout out to the entire Mavericks organization.
Well, I'm shouting out, man, everybody who have continued to support the replay, the Sports Culture Show, man. We do this, man, not only for ourselves, but for our community. We do talk about other subject matters that are very, very important within our community. So big shout out to those who support us. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and the share button, guys, as well as that notification, so you know we're going live. We try to get on here at least every Monday, 8:30 p.m. Central Time, as well as on Thursdays, okay? So I want to shout you guys out. I also want to shout out to Mavs Nation. It's been a wonderful ride, guys. The players, I'll let because Tim just shouted out the Dallas Mavericks, but I want to shout out the fans. I mean, you all could have, not even showed up for Game 4, but you came, rocking and ready, and I'm quite sure they had some parties going around even on this Monday evening. So big shout out. But let me say this too before we I guess if it's what's the date? Okay, it's Wednesday, so I'm gonna shut out right now, man. We have Juneteenth coming up. Juneteenth. And we're gonna try to do some things to talk about some things, the history of African America. I think that's so important to mention that. So big shout out to Juneteenth that's about to come up, and whatever they got going on. You know, you hear about the Martin Luther King parade. We didn't have time to get into the videos this evening and talk about the culture part of the segment that we normally do, but we will. So guys, I just want to say again, this has been the replay where we try to make your day. I want to thank you all for joining us. You know, always, you know, keep God first in your life. You can never go wrong with that. Again, hit that subscribe, like, and share button for us. We're going to be back on. See y'all on Thursday. Appreciate y'all for joining us. Good night. Sleep well. And we're going to see y'all on Thursday, God willing. Peace.
Peace.
Peace, love, and joy.
I don't remember y'all shouting out. I don't remember y'all shouting